Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-op Podcast, episode 155. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. What's up, Gary?
Yo, what's up? Good to be here.
Yes, definitely. And for those that are wondering, where is everybody else at? Well, today it is daylight savings time here in the U.S., so that's a very good question. I have no idea where everybody is at. You know, the clocks went forward 1 hour. So everybody is around. Charles is at work. Michael A was playing Smite, so he may or may not join at some point later on. But for now, it's going to be just us. So bear with us. People may jump in. You never know. Maybe a couple of surprises. But for now, we did have a few things we wanted to address this week because there was some news topics. But before we do that, as always, we want to talk about what we've been playing. So, Gary, how about you go first?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, that's what happens. We lose an hour and everybody goes crazy. They have to adjust to the clock and everything. So it's unfortunate. But hey, this week I've been playing The Division, of course. And I've been enjoying that a lot. I've already put like 9 hours into it. That's obviously spread across the entire week. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game. There's lots to do in it, lots to see, and the aspect of playing with friends and stuff is really good. And I bought it on the PC, and usually like playing games online isn't as fun on PC because it's not so accessible to connect with people as it is on the console. But I've been finding it really good because I got three consistent people that I play with. I got Dro, shouts to Dro from the Coalition, and Lesh. So I've been playing the game with them, and it's been fun, man. You haven't played the game yet, have you?
Oh no, I'm going to talk about that after you finish what you got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I can easily see this replacing Destiny for me personally, because I really like those grindy games where you have to really grind and play through the missions and replay them over and over again to get all the materials and the collectible items that you need and stuff. Like I really like that concept. So I'm really into the RPG side of the game, and that's another thing too, that I want to address, because people are criticizing the game because they say it's a poor shooter, like it's not really a good shooter. The game isn't just a shooter. The whole point of the game is that it's an RPG. You're supposed to level up. You're supposed to equip, better guns and stuff, upgrade your guns to give you an edge in combat. It's a numbers game almost. So, you have to build up your stats so that you can take down the enemies easy. It's not it's not your average shooter game where you just go in all guns blazing and get headshot, bam, and everybody's gone. Like that's not how the game works. It's an RPG. So people need to understand what they're playing before they judge and criticize.
Uh-oh. Whoa. It sounded like that was a shot taken at somebody in particular.
No, it's just because people are so quick to criticize these days, but they don't understand the concept of the game. They think just because it's got guns, it's just your average shooter game like Call of Duty. It's not. It's so much more than that.
Hmm.
So
We'll see about
yeah,
that.
that's my little rant for the day.
All right. Sounds good. So let me go ahead and talk about what I have been playing this week. As Gary already said, no, I did not play The Division. I decided to get The Division on launch day. I had all intended purposes of playing the game, but then I went to start the game on PlayStation 4, and here I see day one patch update. So, of course, you cannot play the game while the patch update is going on. So I decided to play some Mortal Kombat XL. Um, Played a few online matches, played a few of the story mode to try to get a few more trophies here or there. I just ended up playing that and for the duration of the rest of that day. Then the next few days, I didn't get a chance to play it because I had work. Um, really wanted to play it, but I never got an opportunity to play it. I will play it after we record this show. and I'll have something to say about it next week. I do know from what I played in the actual beta the last time, yeah, the game is all right. I don't really know. I mean, again, I've only played one story mission, so I did not really get a chance to really expand beyond that in the beta that they had. Before they had the open beta, I was in the closed beta. So we'll have to see how it turns out. I thought the game was decent so far. I don't really know if I would say that it's better than Destiny yet, because the games are similar, but they're also very different. So I'm not really sure if I'll make that comparison, so to speak, but it's okay. One other game I did play was, of course, Hitman. I did write an article about that last week where I basically talked about the pros and cons of this episodic format. So far, the game is great. Shout out to Mr. Kennedy because he told me the game looks like garbage. And he is a Hitman fan, but he looked at the graphics and said it looks horrible. I told him you should play the game. To which he said I should play Hitman Absolution, which I didn't play last gen, and it's not on PlayStation 4 now, so I probably won't ever play that game. But the game is great so far. Again, I really like the format that they're using. Paris level that I just started is awesome. Just again, I wish that they were more clear about when the next episode is going to release. We just know, all I know is it's going to release next month, but I have no date as to when that's going to happen. And that's one thing I addressed in the article, which was basically I want to know about when these episodes are releasing to get a better idea of how long the wait is going to be.
Does it end on a cliffhanger?
Well, I haven't finished the Paris level yet. Because, trying to find different ways to actually, there's so many different ways which you can kill your adversaries. So I really just started that level because, again, I intended to play it yesterday, but I was out yesterday, all day yesterday. I actually got out the house, didn't play any games for a change. So that was good. Nice time well spent. So I have to play more of that, obviously, before I could talk about it. But of what I've played so far, that game is great, so I'm looking forward to finishing that off. Definitely looking forward to jumping into the division and talking about that a little bit more next week. So stay tuned for that. That, unfortunately, is all that we've been playing this week, all I've been playing. So we're going to go ahead and jump into some topics. There was some news that I did want to address that actually it was some news that came out yesterday. I have no idea whether or not this is valid information. I know that there were 3 different sources that reported on this news, but of course, it's not official yet. It won't be official until the end of this month. But there is now a rumored release date for Final Fantasy 15 for September 30th. Now, as I said, there's an event that's going to be coming up later this month in Los Angeles. It's hosted by Kinda Funny Games and Square Enix. But they basically are going to announce a release date at that particular time. So I know that you are a Final Fantasy fan, Gary. I wanted to ask you, what do you think of this news, if in fact that release date is correct?
September 30th. That sounds good to me. I would have liked for it to be, in the summer. So, July or August or something, because we all know that not many games release during that period. So I could just spend like the entire month or 2 months playing Final Fantasy 15. But September 30th is cool. Obviously, that leads right into the fall season when, all the big games come out. But for Final Fantasy, I'll make sure I get enough playtime out of that before I move on to the next game. So I'm fine with that. That sounds like a good date.
Yeah, I think the date is fine too. It's a game that a lot of people have been waiting on, so no matter what, they will get it whenever it drops. I do agree it would have been better for it to come out in the summer because, again, there's a lot of time people would have to really enjoy the game, but then again, a lot of people don't really. They go away on vacations and stuff during the summer time, so it's probably best that it does come out a little bit later. No Man's Sky is coming out in June. I'm not really sure what's coming out in July, and I know that Deus Ex is coming out in August. So still going to be quite a bit to play in between those times. Again, though, I did want to mention that because again, I don't really know when the game is coming out. It's just my guess is that rumor was said it was a couple of valid sources, but again, until it's official, we can't actually say that that's a confirmed date. But if it is September 30th, well, that's not too far away because we're already about to be halfway through March of 2016, and it feels like this year just started, so it's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, I can't wait to finally play that game because that game's been in development for like 10 years or something. Because originally it was Versus 13 Final Fantasy, and now it's Final Fantasy 15. So I can't wait to finally see this game and how it plays and stuff. Will you be picking up the game? Because I know you're not really a Final Fantasy head, but you've expressed interest in wanting to try it out. So do you think this will be the game you start with?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when I saw some of the footage that they showed, the last gameplay footage they had, I said, okay, the game looks intriguing. Now let me go ahead and say I am not hyped for this game like others are. I have a little bit of a grounded sense of, well, we'll go in and we'll play it and we'll see how it is. Some people are very, very hyped for this game. I can understand that and I respect it. I'm not one of those people, but I definitely am interested in it enough to try it. Now, with that said, I'm very interested to see what's announced at E3 because if there's other games that are coming out around this time, I don't know. It may be a hard sell at that for me to pick it up on day one. It all depends what else is coming out because we still have no idea which games are coming out. I do know that Microsoft is probably going to be releasing another Forza game in September like they do every year. There may be a few other games here or there that come out, but yeah, it all depends on what actually is out there, what is out there. But I definitely do intend to try it out, only because I was intrigued by what I have seen so far. So looking forward to that. One thing I wanted to ask very quickly before we move on from this, I know you actually wrote a Final Fantasy article this week that got quite a bit of attention. There was some people that agreed and some people that disagreed. So what would you like to say to those that basically have positive and negative views on the article?
Yeah, so the article was just about, Lightning from the Final Fantasy 13 series and how I think that she's one of the best video game heroines out there and that she's often ignored because of the games that she features in because the 13 series isn't, it's the least popular Final Fantasy series there is. So, yeah, I mean, I just thought I'd write an article. It was International Women's Day. So I wanted to do my part. I wanted to add my contribution. And yeah, so I decided to write that article and I got a lot of different varied opinions in the comments. Some people were talking about who they thought was the best heroine from other games. One of them was Ellie from The Last of Us, which I would have never thought that one, to be honest, because I mean, she doesn't really do much in that game, to be honest, to be but that's just my opinion, and that's why I enjoy writing these articles because I like to see other people's opinions. So I appreciate all the comments out there, even the people who disagreed, because I like to see the reasons why people disagree. But yeah, what did you think of the article, and who do you think is the best female character in gaming?
Well, I mean, I thought that you backed up your arguments very well in the actual article. Again, I'm not a Final Fantasy person yet. I haven't played any of these games. I am familiar of all of them. I just didn't get a chance to play them because if I recall correctly, when that game came out, the Final Fantasy 13 Part 1 and Part 2, there were other games out at that same time that I also wanted to check out. So I didn't really give that the benefit of the doubt. So with that said, though, I thought the article was very well done. I enjoyed a lot of the things that you said, a lot of the points that were made. As for the best female heroine, I wouldn't know anything about that character. I will say that the Ellie comment is a pretty good comment because it's a pretty important character to The Last of Us. But
Really, like in all gaming, that
well,
I'm just surprised that people would think of Ellie first when it comes to like video gaming.
well, that's the thing. They do like Naughty Dog. I I'm just saying that I enjoy the character. I don't know if I would say it is the best character ever of all female characters. There's probably a few other prominent characters you can put in that list, like Samus, Metroid. That is one character that I'm pretty sure some people will say. But then again, because Nintendo has sort of gone in a different direction and decided not to continue that franchise, or they're doing other things with it other than what people actually want, that's probably where they're like, well, I don't care about that character anymore. I saw somebody mention Claire Redfield on that list. I mean, any of the people, the women in Resident Evil they were pretty decent characters. Again, I don't really know if I would say that is the best female character. Lara Croft definitely deserves to be on the list, I would say.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to say Lara.
Yeah, but people, I guess they said no. They forgot about that because the game wasn't on PlayStation 4 this past year. But yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like that list can go. It's something that can go in many different directions. There are a lot of different choices to choose from. So it really is a matter of opinion. I'm pretty sure the character you chose is great. I just haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games, so I don't really know if I'm in a position to really comment on whether or not I think that character is the best of all time. But I will at some point try the game and we'll see for ourselves what we think about the character. I do think that one thing I will say I did agree with is that there are a lot of female as well as male characters that are misrepresented in a lot of the games they are in. So when there is a character that does get some attention, that deserves it, I think that is very much a big deal. You could take, for instance, a character like Lara Croft. You know, the original Tomb Raider games, a lot of people made such a big deal about the character being somewhat sexualized. You know, they will put the character in compromising positions where you see the body, so on and so forth. And then one of the things that I liked about the new Tomb Raider, especially with the newest one, is that it's really an emphasis on the character and getting more personal with the character. Not about, yes, you could say it's an attractive woman, but I'm not here to, see a woman with a nice body, do all this other stuff. No, I'm here to get a story, to get a feel for the character and see what it goes beyond. So I do like what the direction that they've taken the game so far. The last one was good too, although it wasn't really too good because it had some issues. Wasn't really enough tombs. But the most recent one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, fantastic game. We said that it was definitely one of the best games of last year, but I didn't get that much attention because it was only on Xbox. Now it's on PC. It's gotten more attention, so hopefully the same will happen on PlayStation 4. But to get back on topic,
I still need to get that on PC. But I do agree that, considering Lara used to be really over sexualized in games, I think they've done a great job with this new Lara Croft so far. So I definitely give them props for that. And let me just be clear, I'm not trying to shit on people's opinions if they think Ellie, is a good representation. I'm just saying that wouldn't be the first one that comes to mind for me personally. But it's not my opinion that matters, and this is the whole reason I do this, to start discussions. So I like people to challenge me. So please leave your comments. Let us know who you think is the best video game heroine.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next topic. Last week we discussed studio delays in particular. We talked about the fact that Mass Effect Andromeda is delayed. We also talked about Uncharted 4 is delayed. Now, I did see that there were some comments on the last co-op about the Uncharted 4 delay. We already addressed that and said it's fine. The game is still going to be great. I don't think anybody ever said the game is going to be horrible, or, no one ever said that. So I would like to clarify that for those who may have thought that. But we did get some news this week regarding Mass Effect Andromeda. As yet another person left the game. So that leaves 3 people that have left the game within the span of less than a year. And of course, EA still says the game is coming out in early 2017. So I'd like to ask you, Gary, what do you think of this most recent departure and whether or not the game is actually going to come out when they said it's going to come out, which is early 2017?
Yeah, considering our discussion last week is quite worrying to hear that. I mean, because we literally put out the podcast Monday, and I think it was either that same day or the next day they announced that somebody else left the team and that they're leaving gaming for good as well. So, like, I'm wondering if it was that stressful to work on Mass Effect, or if it's like just a legit, change in occupation. But yeah, it's worrying to see, especially with Casey Hudson leaving prior to that. Like, it's worrying that these games get delayed, and then you hear about people leaving, and the staff being changed and switched around and stuff. I just hope that it comes out good, because that series has so much potential. The Mass Effect universe is so expansive. There's so many things they can do with it. It has the potential to be the Star Wars of video games. So I really hope that they knock it out the park and do something incredible with it. But I guess it remains to be seen. We gotta wait and see what happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much. The thing about it is this: I understand that whenever somebody leaves a project, depending upon the role that they have, that more than likely will have an impact on that project. I said that more so with the other two, because one of the people that left was an executive producer on the game. So that I would think is a pretty big deal. This maybe might not affect it quite as much, but then again, we just don't know how far along this project is. Well, what we said last week, we haven't seen any gameplay from it, and I'm not talking about the cinematic trailer that they showed at E3 last year, because we already know the game probably will not look like that. I'm talking about we haven't seen gameplay yet. We don't know how far along this project is. It should be far along, but again, the E3 prior, not last year, but the year before, when they had the concept of what this game could be, there was nothing that you saw in that. So, I mean, at this point, it's no real telling when it's going to come out. They said early 2017. I would not be surprised. And I really don't know why they don't just say 2017. You don't have to say when in 2017 if you don't know yet. But I guess they wanted to say no, it's going to get pushed till then. So I really don't know what to expect. One point that was made last week that was a very good point. They've done such a good job with the first trilogy, making you feel as though of the huge world that you can explore. So I do have some confidence that there are some stories there that can be told, but it's a matter of how they're told and the people who are telling them. Because again, Casey Hudson is not there. A lot of other people aren't there now. So I'm not really sure what to think about any of that stuff. We'll have to just wait and see, obviously. But am I worried about the game? I would say I'm a little concerned about it, but I'm going to have to sit back and just wait. I don't think BioWare is going to. I think they know the importance of this franchise, so I don't think they're going to put out something that isn't up to the standards that we are expecting. But we have to wait and see what happens from this. Now, if when we post up this episode, someone else leaves the studio, oh, well, then, yeah, there's quite a bit to worry about now, even more so. But we'll see. Any other thoughts on this?
No, I look forward to seeing what they do with the game, and I hope they show a lot more of it at E3. Wait, is EA's not actually going to be at E3, are they?
Yeah, they are. They have their own booth. They have their own event. This is going to take place on Sunday, the same day as the Bethesda event.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to E3, and I hope they show that game in depth, because past 2 years they've shown us concept art. They showed us some short trailer that really doesn't tell you much about the game at all. Mm-hmm. So it's about time they blow this game wide open and just show us what it is and what we can expect.
I agree. Oh, so we'll see. We have to keep this topic short because again, it's just a concept now. It's not anything finished or concrete that you can talk about. So we'll move on to the next topic.
That was a good one.
Oh yeah, that's just a little something. So let me throw in something that I also wanted to address very, very quickly. So I believe that there was a stream for Killer Instinct Season 3. Everybody knows that's coming out at the end of this month. Well, in that stream, they revealed that General Ram from Gears of War is now also going to be in the game. So the current roster count, I believe, that they have revealed, we have Tusk, we have General Ram, we have Rash from Battletoads. We do have the Arbiter from Halo, and who was the other person? We have one other person. Can't seem to think of him right at this particular moment in time. Oh yeah, TJ Combo. So, well, yeah, no, that's not him. What are your thoughts as far as them adding this character? And do you think that what other franchise do we think is they're going to add in there? Now we do have Halo in the game to some extent, and we do have Battletoads, which they kept teasing, that's in the game. So we have Halo and Gears as well. What else do you think they'll add to this?
Wait, sorry. What game is that again? Sorry, I missed that.
Killer Instinct Season 3.
Oh, right. Yeah. So are they just basically adding a lot of Microsoft related characters from IPs they own and stuff?
That's correct.
I don't know who's left. Who haven't they added already? Have they got Gears in there already?
They have General Ram from Gears.
Okay, I can't even remember who that is, to be honest.
Oh no, that's the villain from the first game.
Okay, so, that's why. I never completed the first game, so that's.
Oh man, well, never mind that.
I really should buy it because it's on PC now, so I should buy that and just beat it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that they're adding all these Microsoft characters to Killer Instinct because they definitely need to do something with that game because it launched, didn't have much content, but the actual gameplay was great. Like I remember playing it, it was really good. So I'm glad that they're, adding more content. As far as characters, I mean, you got Halo, Gears, Battletoads. What else could they do? What other IPs do they own that they could use? I suppose they could add Minecraft. That would be hilarious.
That would be ridiculous. I don't want to see that. I definitely don't want to see that. But yeah, you are correct. I know they're not going to have Forza because that would make no kind of sense to have a. They can't do that either.
Well, I know that they won't be adding any Fable to it, unfortunately.
Oh no, well we'll get to that. We'll get to that soon. We'll definitely get to that soon. Yeah, just a random question I wanted to throw out there for those that actually are following this game, looking forward to it. Definitely let us know in the comment section what you think of this recent, this recent roster addition. There isn't a video yet. Now there may be a video this week because the game is out later this month. So I would assume that before this week is over, they'll have an official trailer for General Ram. If not, that'll be on the site as soon as it does come out. But feel free to let us know in the comment section which characters you think they should add. I would only say that I definitely want to see other Gears characters. Man, General Ram is all right, but where the hell is Marcus Phoenix at? I mean, in Gears, you got Gears coming out later this year. So I would think that you want to have somewhat of another character from that universe in the game, but we'll have to wait and see about that.
Yeah, what's the black dude? They need to add the black dude from Gears.
Oh, Coltrane? Are you talking about the new guy?
Yeah, they need Coltrane in there.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe. You never know, but they already have TJ Combo in the game, the boxing guy. So maybe they want to have a limit on the amount of black people in the game. You never know that. But we'll see. I mean, just a little tidbit I wanted to throw out there. Let's get to the next topic. This next topic, one that I'm pretty sure you know a lot more about than I do, which is Bethesda are now flirting with the idea of a Fallout movie. Now, the question that you asked is, are game movies becoming a trend again? And is it something that we want to see? I'll go ahead and I'll answer that question first. I do believe that they are a trend. I haven't really seen any good game movies in quite a while. I did see Doom back in the day when that came out with The Rock. Only saw that because The Rock was in it, but that was no, that was a flop.
I think like he wants to remove that from his resume. He
Oh
wants to
well,
remove that movie. He
listen.
probably made sure that it's not listed on his IMDb page.
Yeah, he could be. It could be. Um, I mean, to answer the question specifically, it is a trend. We know that there's an Assassin's Creed movie coming out later this year. They've already greenlit a sequel to that movie before the first one has even come out. So I'm guessing the movie turned out great. Um, so I guess there are some examples of good movies. The original Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, I thought that was a pretty decent movie. Um, no, I take that back. I take that back.
Yeah, I was about to say like
The Mortal Kombat, the very first Mortal Kombat movie was solid. After that, they
yeah,
lost
that
me.
was dope. The first Mortal Kombat was dope. The
Yeah.
Street Fighter movie, now I was a lot younger when that came out, you know, and it was in the 90s. So when it came out, it was really cool. But
Mhm.
like looking back at that movie now, it's like so cheesy, so corny. Like I'm like, wow, it's more like a spoof comedy movie if you watch it now.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Um, so no. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with any of these game movies coming out. I just hope that they're good movies. Now, I know that Tony wrote a review a while back for the Hitman movie. Said that movie was fantastic, one of the best video game movies ever made. I still haven't seen the movie, so I'm not in the position to say whether or not I agree with that. But I do believe that we do need good game movies if they are going to attempt to do them. I know that Warcraft is coming out as well this summer, I believe. World of Warcraft, and I was surprised that they even made that a movie.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so there's a couple of different ideas that are going out there, but it really depends on who is the director, who are the actors that are going to be in it, and what is the story, and whether or not it's going to be a actual living, breathing example of the game, or a full-on adaptation, or a different concept completely. It all depends on all of that stuff. But what do you say to this question in particular?
Um Yeah, I think this trend comes around like every few years or so because I remember they made the Max Payne movie, they made Doom, they made Hitman, and they were all trash. Like I didn't like any of them. Like they were all terrible. So I mean, hopefully this time, I mean, we got Warcraft, we got Assassin's Creed, and Bethesda are flirting with the idea of Fallout. I mean, Fallout has the potential to be a good movie. It's just that, you know, with these video game movies, they need to like they shouldn't promote them as video game movies. They should just be like their own thing, like what Marvel does. Like, you know, they have their comics and then they have their cinematic universe. Like they need to do that with gaming. Like you need to tailor and custom fit the movie experience so that it's not just, you know, it's not just trying to recreate what happens in the game because it's never going to work. It's always going to seem like cheesy and just, you know, it's there's just something unappealing about it, I think. So hopefully, you know, they'll do it in a way. Hopefully they'll nail it with Assassin's Creed film because it looks like it has potential. You got that guy, what's his name again? Is it Fassbender?
Yeah, Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, you got him, and he's, you know, he's a pretty good actor. So I'm hoping they can pull this off and come up with something decent. And I'm sure if that movie is successful, they will do the Fallout movie, and we'll probably see a lot more. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Konami tries to eat off of the Metal Gear Solid IP and comes up with the movie because there was always rumors they were going to do that. And then on Naughty Dog doing one as well for was it Uncharted?
That's
I think
still in
they're gonna.
discussion. Yeah, that's still a possibility.
Yeah, so
Um,
I think there's a lot riding on the Warcraft and the Assassin's Creed movie. Like, I think if those two particular projects are successful, we're going to see a bunch of video game movies.
I can agree with that. With Bethesda in particular, I personally would hope that if they are going to do a Fallout movie, this isn't until a much, much later time because they have a lot of other projects they need to actually focus their attention on. I know that they announced that they had 3 games that they were working on, 3 big projects. Then they scaled back and then they said this week that, well, we probably shouldn't have made that announcement, possibly because a lot of those things are a hell of a lot You know, it's going to take a while before you see any of that stuff, because they are long-term projects. I want Bethesda to focus on making great games. If they have to make a movie, that's fine, but let that also be a natural process where it takes time for it to come together to be a great film. I've seen a lot of films get rushed, made to capitalize off of other things. So I don't want them to be in the same position, because Fallout is a pretty great IP. That'll be a great opportunity to tell a very convincing story about survival and the apocalypse, so on and so forth. So I want them to do that correct. I don't want them to rush that. But in terms of the games, yeah, Dishonored 2 is coming out this year. They need to focus on that. Whatever the next Elder Scrolls game is, that is going to get announced at some point. I'll be surprised if it's not announced at E3, but they need to focus on that. They still have the DLC for Fallout 4 that they're working on. So, I mean, they're pretty busy right now. I don't want them to steer too off away from what it is that they already do best, which is making great games. I want to see another Wolfenstein game as well. Totally biased of me to say that, but hell yes, I want to see another Wolfenstein game. I don't care what anybody else says about that. So I definitely want them to focus on what they know how to do, which is make great games. Yeah. Maybe they're not always technically, working correctly, depending upon who you ask. Because some people complain about the technical issues of Fallout 4. So they can stand to improve in that area. But overall, I think the majority of their games are fantastic. So I want them to focus on what they know how to actually do, and only do this stuff once they are confident in themselves and they have the right people involved to actually make the project work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and also I think if one of these video game movies does blow up, it can be that new kind of fad and trend, because there's people out there that feel like these comic book movies are a fad or a trend, and that, you know, people are going to get sick of them soon. Which I can't imagine why you would, but you know, there's people like that, I guess. But yeah, so if the video game movies blow up, that could be like the new thing. That will be like the new comic book movies. So what do you think? Do you think it has potential? Do you think it has that kind of potential where we could see Fallout, you know, the movie rights be bought by a big studio like Fox or, you know, Universal or something? Do you think that that's a possibility?
Well, it's always a possibility. I know that there's quite a bit of studios. I just heard yesterday that Paramount now is trying to do the same thing that Marvel and DC are doing with their movies. They're talking about combining G.I. Joes and Transformers into putting them in the same world, the same universe, which I don't really think is a good idea. But, you know, I think that this is something that can work depending upon how desperate some of these studios are to try and really do more different things with gaming. Not saying desperate in a bad way. If they want to try something new, but you know, most of the times they just make sequels to movies that we don't really give a damn about. So I would much rather them actually do this type of stuff versus making those sequels. But I think it is a possibility. I still think that Marvel is way, way above the curve on this stuff, more so than anyone else, including DC. You know, I'm pretty sure Superman, Batman will be a pretty decent movie at best, perhaps. But come on, son. After seeing that Civil War trailer, there is absolutely no competition whatsoever. If you want to compare both, if you want to compare both, there's no competition. I think that Marvel movie is going to be fantastic in pretty much every way imaginable.
Yeah, I legit had a nerdgasm when I saw that trailer.
Yeah. So, but can their movies get on that level? I mean, it all depends. It all depends. I don't have faith that it will, because there are a hell of a lot of movies that were made based on video games that have been horrible. So it would have to be a very rare commodity for there to be just success right along the lines. Because the way I look at it is that even if there is one good movie, there's no guarantee that other movies that will also be just as good. Those movies may be horrible. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, I'm going to go back to what I said before. But Bethesda, they're good at making games. So they need to focus on that before they focus on the movies. And if they do the movies, get the correct directors involved, do your research and figure out who would be a great fit for this film. And then I think you'll actually make something decent. But yeah, it takes time for this stuff to come together. It also takes money. So I don't really know if they're going to venture into that just yet. But then again, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So we'll see about that. So any final thoughts on that particular topic?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. I want to throw in one other topic before we get to the main discussion, which is basically next week is GDC 2016. It's notorious that there's a couple of things that are going to happen at this event. Sony has already sent out invites for people to try out PlayStation VR. They're also expected to announce a release date and a price, although I don't believe that both of those will happen. I think we'll probably get the release window. I don't know if we'll get the price. I would like to hope we get all of that. But Xbox is having an event as well that I've heard about, ID at Xbox event. And they're going to announce a few things. So I just wanted to ask you, with GDC coming up, what do you think will potentially get announced this week, if anything, whether it be Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo?
Well, Sony, they're gonna show us, PlayStation VR. Whether they'll talk about price, I'm not sure, but I think we'll get, a release window at the very least. At the very least, and we'll know when to look out for it. I think it will be good press if they do drop the price, though, especially if the price is lower than the Oculus. Then the stars will align for them because they have 30 million PlayStation 4s out in the world, and they need to make a big splash with VR. VR has to be successful, and it's a hard sell because how do you demonstrate this technology to people who are just watching these press conferences online? Like, people need to be able to experience it to know why they need it. So it's a hard sell. So I hope they do a good job at GDC with it. I'm pretty sure that's going to be, their main focus of GDC. Microsoft has a lot of explaining to do with this Xbox, shared universe thing. So hopefully they bring clarity to that, because there's lots of questions being raised about, how it's going to work, how you upgrade your system. Do you just buy a new system? Are they going to release a new system every 2 years or something? Are they going to give us different options or tiers? Or, how is it going to work? How's the infrastructure going to work? So they have a lot of questions to answer. Nintendo, so what are they actually doing at GDC? Are they having a conference or?
Well, it's come to my understanding that there was going to be some stuff, but I think that stuff is no longer in the works. I would imagine that they're going to have a huge presence at E3 this year, and I'm not talking about just the presence on the floor. They need to actually have some type of event, I would say, there. But who knows whether or not that's going to be a Nintendo Direct or actual event there at the show. I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to announce NX, they really should have a press conference at E3. GDC is too soon, but if they're going to release NX, it can't just be a Nintendo Direct. Like, yeah, you can have the Nintendo Direct as well, but I feel like we need a press conference if you're going to announce a new system.
I agree. So we'll see about that. I do have a response for what you said about Microsoft and Sony, though. Microsoft definitely does have quite a bit that they have to talk about. I think that right now, Phil Spencer has said that, the perception is that everything that's on Xbox One is coming to PC, but he keeps saying that that's not the case. What I do think is that, I do know that they are going to announce some stuff at this ID at Xbox show. That may be more so indie games or games that were on the PC that are coming to Xbox as a console exclusive for a time period. But what I do know is that, they definitely have to talk more about what they're going to do with the Xbox. I don't really think a lot of that stuff is going to happen till E3, because again, E3 is the bigger show for them. GDC, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. A lot of people have different appointments with different developers at the show. But to me, I think E3 that's like the Super Bowl of the video game industry. So I would imagine that they'll have more to say at that conference. But yeah, they have the work cut out for them because they keep saying that they're going to keep supporting Xbox One. But you know, what they may do essentially is that they may say that a lot of these games that are coming to PC probably not going to be coming the same day and date. I know with Killer Instinct, that's already confirmed that that's coming to PC and Xbox the same day. Quantum Break, we also know as well. I don't know about Gears of War 4, even though they said that it is possibly coming to PC. That's a given because the Ultimate Edition just came out on PC earlier this month. So I think it's a foregone conclusion you'll see Gears of War 4 on PC at some point. Windows 10 PC, by the way, not Steam, because you know they want to strengthen Windows 10. But I just don't know exactly what they're going to announce at GDC, outside of maybe some more indie games that are coming to the platform first. Maybe they will announce a release date for a lot of the games that we've been waiting on, like Below, Inside, Cuphead. All of these games are coming out this year, but nobody knows when they're coming out. So I would imagine maybe we'll get some clarity on that this upcoming week. We'll have to wait and see. As for Sony, yeah, no doubt about it, PlayStation VR is the main focal point of what they're going to be doing at GDC. Regarding price, I have no idea how much it will cost, but I do believe that it will have to be cost effective because, again, while I don't think the Oculus Rift price is too ridiculous, I do think for the regular consumer, they don't want to spend that much for a VR headset, especially if they also need to have a PC that is also high end and you need to run it on there as well. So I think that the PlayStation VR will definitely get a price, will definitely get a release date. They did say, I believe that they said spring initially. So in my opinion, that means that it will have to be coming out very soon. But I don't know about that. But yeah, that'll be what they focus on more than anything. I do know that they did make a statement recently that they have been planning their E3 for the last 3 months. So they're going to have a lot to say at E3 as well. We'll have to wait and see what that is. I have no idea. And as for Nintendo, I do believe that they were going to talk about some things related to NX. But right now, I don't think that's going to happen at all. Because really, the event itself is a time for people are going there looking for jobs, as well as they have appointments with different developers to see different technology. So I don't really know too much about the games that could potentially get announced. I do know there are a few games that are going to get announced because I have received a couple emails about some of these games. Can't really talk about that now, but it's not really something that's so massive of an announcement that it's like it warrants talking about anyway. Little stuff here or there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens at the show itself. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I will say that I'm looking forward to some stuff happening. Perhaps there will be some discussions about some things that were closed, some studios that were closed that we are going to get into next. But we'll have to just wait and see how this pans out. I have no idea how it's going to pan out. So we'll see. I'm definitely looking forward to the event because it seems like there's going to be a lot that's going on. One thing I do know, actually, South by Southwest is also having an event next week, towards the end of the week, and they're going to be talking about Batman. The Telltale has a panel. They're going to be talking about the Batman game.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
I look forward to getting some information on that as well because I don't know what they're going to talk about. I know a lot of people were not really too receptive to they're getting tired of The Walking Dead. I'm one of those people. But I'm interested to see what they have to say. So there may be some news that's shared, but we'll know sooner rather than later. I'll just leave it at that. So, any final thoughts?
No, I think it will be an interesting show. GDC is always more interesting than it gets credit for. but obviously, it's more aimed at the development side of things. So that's the whole point of it, and it's not always a consumer show. This year, there are elements of it that's going to be aimed at consumers because Sony has to sell VR. So that's why it's going to be more interesting than usual. But still, people shouldn't sleep on GDC because
I agree.
there's a lot of cool stuff that comes out of that conference.
I agree. 100% agree with that. This is a very good networking opportunity. A lot of developers are there, publishers, so it's still a good still a great show to go to. Look forward to seeing what we hear from it.
Yep.
So let's move on to the final topic of the show. No doubt the biggest news of last week, and one that a lot of people had quite a bit of things to talk about. Those that are also not Xbox, they don't really like Xbox too much, but they also have something to say. But we'll get into that. Microsoft announced that they got rid of Lionhead Studios. They at one point they was talking about discussing potentially getting rid of the studio, but they did cancel Fable Legends. So you will have to believe that there will be an announcement forthcoming. If it hasn't already happened, they've already said that they were starting to position people to go to other jobs or giving them other opportunities within Microsoft. One thing that did happen last week related to this topic is that Sony also reached out to a lot of these people. And some fans were not happy to hear this, namely Xbox fanboys. They were very angry to hear this. So before I give my thoughts on this topic, I want to ask you, well, what do you think about those that were at Lionhead? Do you feel like a lot of those people will end up at Sony, or do you feel that a lot of them will still be compelled to work with Microsoft?
I think they will end up with Sony. I mean, if Sony is generous enough to extend their hand, I feel like they will end up at Sony because Sony are very, opportunistic right now because they know that they're in a position of power and they have to maintain that. So I can see it happening for sure. I'm sure they have a lot of talent there over at Lionhead that Sony can use. They probably won't be called Lionhead anymore, of course, but yeah, I could see Sony because does Sony have a lot of development studios in the UK specifically? I know they have a presence over here, but as far as development goes, I'm not sure they have a lot of.
Well, isn't Media Molecule over there, or is that another part of?
Oh yeah. They've got those guys. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, all they're doing is dream, and like, yeah, that's all I need to say about that.
That game. I'm not sold on that game.
They should have stuck with Little Big Planet.
Yeah, they should have stuck with that. I mean, a proper new game on PlayStation 4 would have been great. Because I do know that Little Big Planet 3 that was primarily made for PlayStation 3. I do know that because we had a writer on the site that actually play tested it on a PlayStation 3. So I think a proper new game on PS4 made on PS4 for PS4 would have been better, but that's a whole other topic.
So what if this happens? What if Sony scoops up the Lionhead people and have them work on Little Big Planet?
Hey, that could happen. I mean, I'm not going to rule that out, but my thing is this: the fantasy game genre that for the most part, the Fable games, the Fable franchise was a fantastic franchise. I played the first game and the second game. Obviously, loved the first one. Second one was okay. I played Fable Legends. Game is completely different, and they took the formula of the 4 versus 1 gameplay format, which is the same thing that we've seen in Evolve and several other games. So, not a good decision. That obviously was something that maybe Microsoft wasn't sold on, which is why they said, well, we're going to get rid of this while we still can, because they already spent a lot of money on this project. It was in development. It was still in beta form. But to me, I don't think they were confident in it. So it's sad to see it go, but it is what it is. But to get back on track with Sony, they could use these people to work on another Little Planet, or they could just put them on existing projects they have now to make the projects better. If they have any particular fantasy themed projects, those people might be willing to contribute something to that. It all depends on what they decide to ultimately do with that. But definitely, I think people miss the whole point of all of this is that it's great. I mean, no one likes to be in an industry where you're always losing your job. The video game industry is without a doubt one of the most brutal industries out there. It's so competitive to get into the field, and then once you're in the field, trying to keep your job, because again, a lot of these major games that come out is like maybe 2 or 3 years of your life spending on working on one game, and then they can let go of some of those people, see how the game performs, maybe ask them to come back on after it performs, or don't have them come back on and they have to go from project to project. So it's a very, very, get up and go type of industry. Very, 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 very tough in many ways. So the fact that Sony was willing to offer these people anything in the first place, that right there definitely deserves to be commended. I mean, I don't know why anybody would be angry about that. It's bad enough that people are losing their jobs, but to have options, that's what they need. They deserve that, especially if they've poured their heart and soul into these projects. The least that they could do is have opportunities to pursue other things if a certain project didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And again, I do think that a lot of this that happened, again, as we have already said, Microsoft has a hell of a lot to prove at E3 this year. This was not a good week for them. I did see an interview that Phil Spencer had, a couple of conversations he had over Twitter about this week, said that it wasn't a good week for him because he also was a fan of Fable, but they had to make that tough decision to get rid of that team and to let that franchise go. So I don't know if the franchise is gone, fully. It's always a chance that another studio could be working on that, but I would think more than likely, no, I think it's finished. Because they have other stuff and they want to focus on the franchises they know have the most potential to actually be big sellers, like Halo, like Forza, I guess, which is selling to some degree. Gears, yeah, they want to focus on these franchises. And then Scalebound, which is a game that I am very much looking forward to, but is not coming out till 2017. I definitely like that they are working on new franchises, but it still was unfortunate to see this franchise just get cut by the wayside the way it did. And let me also give a shout out to the makers behind Max and Curse of the Brotherhood, because that studio also got cut. So
yeah. It always sucks when people lose their jobs and studios shut down. So,
yes, it does. Yes,
yeah.
it does. This always happens in this industry. There's quite a bit of reductions and layoffs and game cancellations this week because I believe that EverQuest Next also was canceled. That's like a huge MMO RPG that a lot of people is looking forward to. So, yeah, it's not good to hear about any of this stuff happening. But whenever I hear of the people who are actually out there, the development or publishers that are actually out there, they see that this stuff happens and then they respond to try and help to place these people in other jobs. That definitely is commendable and it's something that everybody should have respect for. But the fanboys that only see it one way, that for some reason think that Xbox still can compete with Sony. I just don't know what they're smoking. They're smoking something strong. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something that doesn't have a name because it's so strong. But I just think that they need to just stop being stupid and just listen. If you don't like Sony, that's fine. You don't have to play a PlayStation 4, but you definitely should just acknowledge, be happy for the people that have opportunities. I mean, that's all it is. But it is what it is. You have anything else to add?
No, like I said, it always sucks when people lose their jobs. But like you said, if Sony does extend their hand and take these people on, that's not a bad thing at all. It's good for Sony and it's good for those people who need jobs. And game development in the UK isn't as big as it is in the States, of course. So it'll be good if they do find themselves a home. Otherwise, they might struggle to find another project as big as Fable was. So yeah, um, good luck to those people.
Yeah, good luck to them. We do wish them the best. Even though some of them may not know us personally, we do wish them the best as fans of their games. So hopefully it works out. Um, and I'm pretty sure we'll be hearing more. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this impacts both Sony and Microsoft for those that actually do end up getting employed with Sony, and for what Microsoft intends to do. Because there's no doubt about it, they've had a very rough 2016 so far. Um, from the Quantum Break announcement of the game coming to Windows 10 to now getting rid of this studio. That's why I said I'm very interested to see what it is that they are going to have to say at E3. Because to me, no doubt about it, it's going to be they have a lot that they have to talk about. They have to give fans who are only Xbox fans or only have that console, they have to give them assurances that, well, we still got you guys covered. We still got some things that you can look forward to, and I don't really know what that is just yet. But we'll see sooner or later. Um, yeah, we'll see. To be determined. So
Yeah.
that pretty much concludes all the topics for this week. I'd like to apologize to those in advance. They probably was expecting a long show, but there wasn't really much to talk about this week. GDC, as I said, it is in a couple of days. So we are going to have a lot to talk about next week. We also have a special guest on the show next week. We may have more than one guest on the show, actually. But Gary, you actually have a special guest that's going to be returning to the show again. You can tell the fans about that.
Yeah, shouts to Nigel Tomasi. He'll be joining us again next week to talk about his upcoming gamepad event. So yeah, it'll be good to have him back on the show. And hopefully we can get, Michael A or Charles as well, because you guys seem to love them. Talking to the listeners out there, you guys seem to love those two guys. So we'll try and bring them back next week.
Oh, no, we're definitely going to have a lot of other people on the show in the very near future. It's just a situation where right now we did a last-minute show. It's daylight savings time, so clocks have been moved forward, and everybody's on different schedules, so they have to be adjusted. But again, we will be back strong next week. So we thank you all for supporting us this week. Any shout-outs you'd like to give, Gary? Go right ahead.
Yeah, shouts to all the commenters, Final Stage Boss, Corey Dillon, Wesley, all you guys that comment every week on the site, no matter what. And shouts to our Patreon supporters, M. Collins and Gority. And remember, we've updated the Patreon now. So for as little as $1, you get 2 extra entries into the giveaway and, the monthly giveaway that we run. And you can also enter it manually as well. So, for $1, you can get a total of 4 entries into the giveaway, which gives you a better chance at winning the game. And if you donate $5, you get 6 entries. If you donate $10, then you get 10 entries. And of course, you can also add your own entries to that on the widget. So yeah, that's our way of giving back to you guys that support us, and your contributions go towards making a better show and more quality content on the site. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys very much. As for the giveaways, we're going to be doing a lot more. It all depends on if you guys want us to do more. Definitely by supporting us, you will allow us to do that. We do have a Dark Souls 3 giveaway going on now. That actually ends about this time next week. So if you have not entered, you definitely should do so. We'll be sure to leave a link in the post for those that might have missed it. But it is still front and center on the website. So if you want a chance to win Dark Souls 3 for the PlayStation 4, definitely enter in. We are going to be doing more giveaways. I know those of you may be wondering, are we only going to be giving away PlayStation 4 games? Nah, we do have some stuff coming very soon. Can't discuss it quite yet, but just stay tuned because there are going to be some more giveaways. But if you guys, go ahead.
And I was going to say, and we have a goal on the Patreon page as well. So if we reach that goal, we'll give away more than one, copy of a game every month. And
Yes.
also, we're looking at things like extending the giveaway to the UK as well in the future. So, that's in the works for the future. So thank you for supporting us now.
Yeah, let me add very quickly as well. For those that are participating in these giveaways, keep in mind that for now it's US only. The UK thing we'll announce when that's official. But if you and that means you have to live in the US. Do not try to contact us from overseas or anything else, because we're not going to be able to send you the game, a physical copy of the game that way. Perhaps in the future we can expand upon that and send it out to more different regions, but different regions means different costs and a lot of other things associated with all of that. So that's why I said for now it's US only. UK may be an option sooner rather than later. It all depends. But like I said, you guys can let us know what else you would like to see in terms of different giveaways, which games you want us to give away in the future. Just let us know, and we will definitely work towards those goals. We already have a list of games we're going to be giving away that I've already compiled. So stay tuned for that, because as I said, we do intend to do more. But it all depends on if you guys want that, and if you do support, then we will definitely do our part to make sure that you have better odds of getting these games. So stay tuned for that. And again, thanks for checking out this week's show. Please feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And we'll talk to you all next week.
Peace.